Where's my little good girl at? Where's she at? Is she okay? Where's my little clubfoot sister? Where's she at? Where's she at? Is that the one? Y'all pull her tails off? That stress does that too. Is she over there? All right now. I got some blueberries for her. You other guys, you guys agree? Y'all wouldn't let her eat. You get some blueberries. We'll get them here in a minute, okay? Where's she at, guys? La da 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 da. Hey, Grand Ascension, what's up, niece? Yes, I'm going to read a little bit. I was on the and I was looking at that. I pulled it down to see if I could put an in picture, because I screenshot some of the stuff, pictures. I'm having a hard time. I know if I had an iPhone or app, whatever those things, I could do it. But this Android, they do it like this, because remember when cell phones were like $150? Now 10 times like 1,000, 2,000. It's just ridiculous. These abominations, that's unbelievable. The more they learn from us, the more they come like us, but they forget, and they culturally, and it's all the way around. And I've been studying people for a long time. A long time. But we call people. And you don't want to say it, but the truth is, the abominations they're here. They walk amongst us. I don't mean that in a mean way, because people are very. You need to study what an abomination is. A fruit today is an abomination. Meat, what Bill Gates, that serious abomination, and a lot of other people. He's in a bad way abomination. Fauci, an abomination. The popes and abominations. The fake Jews are an abomination onto life. AI is an abomination because what it's supposed to usher in. When you think about it wants to tell you that he had nothing to do with it, with the Reconstruction era. But for those who study and read, the information is still there. And he was an abomination. It had everything to do with it. Everything, because what was the Reconstruction era about? It was about usurping our old world that we built, that we created, everything we invented, and putting it up to task to a people that never existed. Marginally. I told y'all to study Theodore Albert Herzl. Some people came across information and said, oh shit, he is a Hindu. I keep telling y'all. Look, there's a lot of things people don't want to acknowledge or see. This is not demeaning to Hindus, or the original, that's still there, who have been put in the lower caste because of their skin color. The original people. This is worldwide. You have a bunch of Pelicans attempting to play us, and they can never. I called the Chickasaw Nation. I says, and some women sound like Brigida Peters answered the phone. I said, are you Chickasaw? Well, yes, sir, I am. So they still want to keep up the charades regardless of what's being relinquished and delivered. It's very upsetting, disturbing, to say the least. Not for me, It should be for them. My light-skinned kindred of a sort. If you haven't figured out the relationship between a dragon and a wolf, I'm going to say what needs to be said. You can never be autochthonous or indigenous to this land, regardless of the blood ties and the manipulation. The whitewashing, which is bullshit. Any of y'all study what whitewashing is, when it started, who started it, and who created it? We need to relinquish the lies. And if you want to relinquish the lies to get steeped in the truth and know your truth, then you have to realize the reality of it, or you don't have to accept it. You can go and listen to Jane Elliott and them tell you, and there's thousands of them, but not cheating all of them. Or you can listen to those of us who sit there and have care and concerns because some of you are starting to get together and realize, wait a minute, okay, it's something plausible here. You don't have to believe me. I don't want you to believe anything. I asked y'all to research it, and most people refuse to because there's a breaking point. A very serious breaking point. Eye for an eye and a tooth for the tooth. I shared just 2 pictures. I got plenty. Showing you who the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, and these Mongols, pale-skinned brothers in a relationship, and it doesn't matter how they became that way, because there was a manipulation of a lot of things in a very short period of time. You can never be us. You didn't know about Tartaria, the great buildings of civilization. You didn't help in the Reconstruction era. You didn't do anything other than be a Photoshop, a sit-in, whole lot of drab and goofy stuff, and then be giving land partitions and be established with people that came based on the census, not to take with the numbers, who came to see that y'all were settling into the barren land that they gave you for your participation in the lie, and that was from the 1800s, no more than that. Y'all did not come over no ice wall and all that dumb stuff, goofy fake red robe book with these want to be enumerated into another ideology. You didn't come over no ice wall. You didn't come here no thousands of years ago. If you did, you would know everything about the pyramids. You would know everything about our wigwams, the long houses that were on the East Coast that y'all are now meticulously, because of the 40s and 50s, after World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam, to establish you as a people put in curriculum, because you weren't in the curriculum of the education system before that. You were called the Plains Indian, and that's the reason why. And they said they gave a description, but yet when you look at the Cheyenne, the Hopi, and everything else, you realize they're not the same people. Because in Alameda and archives and the Great Institute of the goddamn witch card and all the libraries and still to this day, in the museums in Germany, Britain, and every UK and everywhere else, we're still the Indians. Unless you want to go read Louis L'Amour and all the fantasies. And the Black Saxon, the melanated Saxons, the melanated Irishmen, the melanated Scotsmen, and the few numbers, they're still there and they're standing up because of our voice. While they all been fleeing here and then converting to Judaism which is a religion, which is an idea, and becoming an Israeli that only belongs to one individual, Yaakov or Jacob, and they go because of Hollywood. The spell is cast over everybody to convert to another abomination instead of standing still and learning the truth, which a handful are. You have never been one on this land before that. And besides that, every time I hear one of y'all talking about, well, in 17, I'm like, there ain't no such thing as 1700. The Reconstruction era was a period based on reestablishment of an old order into a new order. I remember coming up as a kid, watching Channel 13 at night when they were still crashing our great trains into the new trains. Actually, in the beginning, they were taking the lives of the conductors, killing people in the audience, and it was applauded. Who does anything like that? An abomination. The great trains we built, the monorails, the electric car from the fake 1600s would be the 7th century, the real number. When they had breached upon, they disappeared and they were over here. The fact that we allowed them in, just like everybody else, because we were peaceful people. We showed them everything, how everything works. And their only intentions were to destroy it, to slip poison, toxins into our foods and our water. And now you run around on this fake greatness when the majority started coming here in the 1920s, 1940s. And I was doing numbers up into the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, coming here by the droves. Well, I had to state a fact. Now I'm going to get into reading that very thing about the machineries crashing the old into the new. Occult symbolism, the feelings, the awes, and everything else that goes with it. We taught y'all everything, and you turn around even after we've been teaching everything all the way up until we had the highest IQs, our youngest children going to college and stuff, and they had to dismay that, even though the Chinese and the Hindus were paying for their degrees. Well, none of them, hey DJ, won't none of them come over here and say anything. They won't say nothing. Because an abomination is exactly that. Now that what you call telescopes catching an angel, that's nothing but pure eyes rotating. Not out in space, but up there in a spree. Looking, waiting. It isn't light. I don't care about Mali. It's fictional. It's a real place with real individuals who don't know their truth of history. I don't want to hear nothing about some goddamn Africa. Don't you come over here with that. Keep it over there. Go talk to TikTok and all those doing Africa shit. That made up new place. Majority of them, if they read the books out there, they know where they actually come from. I had enough of all that goofy shit. I don't have no thoughts. My thoughts are on this right now. What I've been stating. Does it sound like my thoughts was on Mali, beloved? Not at all. Let's stay conscious. Let's stay conscious. Let's stay in the moment. All right. Anyway, this is not being. I got to assert Beta Sigma to pull people back because people get all into shit that don't mean nothing, that I don't care about. This is the book, Tartaria, Full Hidden History. He has another one that I ordered, and it's the book of images from Tartaria. A lot of it they tried to get rid of. All right, Full Hidden History Unlocked, but shooting in Noventa, Tartaria.com. All right. Again, history does repeat. That one ain't no fib. Yes, Lucy. But it only repeats because the people are ignorant and allow it to happen. And it shouldn't happen. A lot of us shouldn't even be where we're at, like we are. This is what they brought. Destruction, strip the minerals from the fruit, poison the water, harm the animals, experiment. I mean, think about the monkeys they were doing experiment on with Revlon, poisonous. It's poison. See how well they could stave it off and slow it down. Pampers, the whole nine, talcum powders and everything. Killing the animals. Who does that? An abomination. Right? Nobody who's living, who cares about things, does that. Who would put people out there when Greenpeace wants to speak peace, regardless of how it is, would have people come along wanting to shoot them and spray them with cannons of water? Who would want to take drones on ships bringing food to the so-called Palestinians, drop flare bombs to catch it on fire? An abomination. Who was that guy in Baltimore riding a horse, who used to ride a horse a while back, that these punk-ass cops wearing tight pants with their booty all out, right, the little rainbows, they shot him like 18 to 20 times. We used to deliver fruit and stuff. Guy who ride a horse, let the kids and all them play. Who would do that? Abominations. I don't care about no crayon color, because niggas is they are whack today. They seek their own destruction. That's why I told you there's only a few. Anyway, let's get into reading. So when we last left off, we were looking at the colliding train spectacles, a symbol of the reset. So we covered that, right? The crash at Crush in Texas in 1896. Well, let's go on. The machinery of the old world crashes into the new. In hindsight, these destructive displays seem almost ritualistic in nature. Two unstoppable forces barreling towards each other, an ancient metaphor used in countless myths and religions to symbolize transition, chaos, and rebirth. That's it, transition, chaos, and rebirth. You should look into that, okay? I mentioned that before, okay? Now, in the context of Tartaria, now AI wants to say it's a myth. You already know what that plays to. These train crashes may have represented something far more profound. For bullet point 1, 2, and 3, let's go to 1. The destruction of progress that existed before the reset. The violence, bullet point 2, the violent severing of the old world from the new industrial paradigm, which is incorporated, right? And bullet point 3. The ritualistic burning of what remained of Tartarian technology and harmony. As you know, they did destroy it. They used their lies as common, the usual suspect. They lie about everything. Yet Tartaria still stands all over the place. Even the names in Jakarta, Tartaria, Jakarta, all of them, and Negro Head lands and all that still stand even in the Philippines. Steam engines, massive symbols of the industrial age, were turned into sacrificial machines, and the public cheered. Who were repairing the railroads? And we taught the Han, the people from the fall at the Boxer Rebellion, we taught them how to repair the trains over here, the tracks. So they worked alongside us. Not some fake-ass Native American. Didn't know the first thing about a damn train in the first place. So Hollywood made a fake-ass Western movie that the West didn't exist the way people have been told. The dumbing down, yeah. Now, could it have been a mock funeral for the old world? Symbolism, right? Now, as a theatrical masking of historical trauma, consider the psychological effect on the public. Bullet point 1. They are shown powerful machines smashing into each other. Bullet point 2. There is death, smoke, fire, and collapse, right? All in the name of entertainment. Wow, PSYOP before a PSYOP was a PSYOP. Bullet point 3. The trauma is externalized. It's all outside, right? It registers on the end though, but not questioned. All hands in. This mirrors what may have already happened behind the scenes: the destruction of Tartarian cities, the burning of inherited architecture, and the erasure of historical memory. Now the train crashes become a symbolic repetition of this grand reset, a performance that numbs the population to catastrophe, like war and everything else. That's what they know. They don't invent, they didn't create nothing. You ever notice the one saying pseudo this and that? I asked them, well, what did you invent? What did you create? What have you given to so-called society or to the world that is innovative? You know what you do? You hear crickets. Just as the world fares concealed loss with parades and lights. Yes, just as the world fares concealed loss with parades and lights. That's how they had them. You know, give them what and the what. The train crashes disguise collapse with spectacle. Controlled chaos, public submission. Why would the architects of the New World, those who potentially orchestrated the erasure of Tartary, stage something like this? Well, because symbolism matters. In occult and esoteric traditions, ritual destruction is often used to initiate a new order. The audience becomes complicit witnesses in the collapse, and they watch it, they clap, they accept it, they become part of the ritual. They were already established that way. It is programming by performance. Isn't that what the music industry, frequencies, 440, 880, with football, baseball, basketball, you lovers of that crap because you can't shake it, you think everybody's supposed to accept it? Even boxing and martial arts, which is my favorite, right? Fencing as well, but you don't even see hardly no more unless it's in the Olympics. Now, A global metaphor in steel and fire. The timing of the crash of 1896, remember I had relatives who I knew who were alive then. They fought in the fake Civil War. They were the ones that said there wasn't no Civil War. We've been fighting nonstop. Now, isn't it funny? I've been saying that for over 30 years, 30 plus years, and people now are starting to go, okay, it wasn't a Civil War. We've been fighting them nonstop for about 300. Yes, it took that long to get us to a point where they could feed us, and the only way they could do that is with Margaret Sanger, with poisons, with syphilis, with Natchez, you know, the Punch Bowl, the same very people who we are, the tribes of Natchez, Mississippi, and Indians down in Texas. Nobody else could be us. But like I said, my family migrated from Costa Rica all the way up through there. You don't see no Mongols. It was always us. You can't make this stuff up. And they have a hard time because of displacement. Now, the timing of the crash at Crush, 1896, you can actually see the videos. It's significant. It occurred just 3 years after the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, which many believe showcased and then destroyed major Tartarian structures. Absolutely. Now, as the White City burned and the Eiffel Tower stood alone among dismantled palaces, the message was clear. The old world is gone and the new world rules by industry, not energy. By smoke, not light. And they gave you Satan, Lucifer, my name, right? One individual compared to what could be plausibly a truth or another reality. The train crashes were the soundtrack to the erasure, the smoke signal of conquest. Now, in the final thoughts, we'll look at was it all a ritual farewell? Well, if the Tartarian age ended with a reset, whether by war, mud flood, or design, then the spectacles we see in these farers may have been ritual closures. The train collisions were not just about speed or still, they were about symbolism. Now, we have people who get all up into the mathematics of this stuff. I would like to see them start looking at the dates, the times, the rituals. When you start looking at 1896, 96, are there any threes in there? How about 1893, Chicago, right? When you start doing the math, 189, 93, 3 into 9 goes 3 times, 6, 3. You know what I'm saying? You start doing the math, you start realizing it's 9, 3 9s and 6s, 3 6s and 9s. We want to break down 47s. Do we want to get into all that? And 88s? How Hitler's? Anyway. They were about symbolism, right? When you think about the ritual closure, the train collisions were not just about speed or still, they were about symbolism. They represented, bullet point 1, the clash of civilizations, bullet point, the old train and the new train, bullet point 2, the death of natural harmony. Have y'all ever heard one of the old Tartarian trains, how it sounded when it was going down the tracks? It was a rhythm. Bygone, right? Bullet point 3, the ascendancy of controlled chaos. In that collision of iron giants, something ancient was buried, perhaps for the last time, or perhaps just long enough for us to begin asking questions again. Remember I told you about Lackawanna Plaza where me and Snoo and Big Jers and them, the trains that went over top everything, they used to spin the train around? That was Tartarian. Even the old look of brownstones, which our people made all the way up into the 90s, I think. I don't know if the families are still making it. I think it's 1 or 2 families left that still make red bricks in the Carolinas. We made all the red clay bricks that built brick cities and all the cities and the cobblestone roads and the brick roads. Nobody else did it. I showed you a picture of one of my relatives that helped R.J. Reynolds for 35 years to teach that idiot how to cultivate and grow tobacco. Well, the fair is a way to divide the Tartarian world. Well, as we peel back the layers of these grand international exhibitions, a troubling question emerges. Will the World Fair simply events to entertain the massacres, a global operation to divide the remains of lost civilizations? The deeper you, absolutely, the deeper you go, the more the pattern reveals itself. Display, document, divide, destroy. Display, document, divide, destroy. Display, document, divide, destroy. Right? Antiquity, hide the rest, destroy what you can, make sure nobody can see it other than the elite, who aren't elite at all, but just a bastardized abomination of individuals. These were not isolated, harmless cultural events. They may have been stages for a quiet conquest where the artifacts, knowledge, technologies, and even spiritual systems of Tartaria were systematically divided among rising global powers, while the population remained mesmerized by light shows, architecture, and promises of progress. You got to think about that when you look in the archives, right? Display a final public glimpse. Each fair acted as a curated theater, giving the world a glimpse of Tartarian architecture and energy under new management. Structures believed to be inherited from Tartaria were paraded as modern achievements or temporary constructs. Or from the grand domes of the Chicago White City, which was not a white city, 1893, I remember when they started creating that fake white power bull crap, to the intricate Greco-Roman halls of St. Louis. Yes, intricate Greco-Roman halls of St. Louis, 1904. These buildings stood as living fossils, possibly far older than claimed. For a few months, the public wandered unknowingly through cities of the past, rebranded and disguised. Once the curtain fell, most were demolished. The message, you've seen it, now forget it. Document, catalog, the inheritance. Inherited? While the public was entertained, the elites, bankers, royals, scientists, secret societies were likely cataloging and documenting everything. You got to remember, these scientists and these secret societies were all the crap. They didn't know nothing. We've been teaching. What do you think? Y'all so-called traitor, you call him traitor, you idiots. Martin Luther King was saying in the end, when he was telling you what we had done, the fact that he was going to get the check because of all the work we did teaching these idiots. Bullet point 1. Blueprints and schematics were quietly taken and archived. Bullet point 2. Artifacts and tools were collected and sent to private collections or new museums. Smithsonian, anybody? Bullet point 3. Indigenous wisdom, often dismissed publicly, was studied, recorded, and hidden. Hello, my Mongolian misnomer name, because Genghis Khan was a nigger. Bullet point 4. Spiritual systems related to energy, healing, and cosmology were dissected and absorbed into esoteric schools. It all becomes a myth and mythology and all that bullshit, while they teach you lies so you can circumvent and create a disproportionate illusion of something that never existed, so that way it can be the academic for news, study, and the repeat offensive vernacular that most see today, and then you wonder how when the people don't even know how to fucking act. It's no coincidence that, get off of here, that Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, and Jesuits, and the Theosophical Society all experienced a surge in membership, influence, and funding during this exact era. They were the new stewards of the old world secrets. And that's why I have a problem with black folks talking about the Masons and all this. You fucking idiots. Anyway, divide the global carve-up. Now, behind closed doors, it's believed that patents, land claims, ancient maps, and technologies, remember, our people are the only ones that actually have land patents. Ain't that funny in America, so-called America, which I don't call it that, the so-called black African Americans, which ain't, are the only ones that got land patents in America. Make that make sense. I ask y'all to study and know yourself. Stop listening to these behemoth abominations, these lies. I told you they can't own the land, but they only do it because you've been dealing with these fake Jews in all these liberal cities, rent, landlords. I told you what lords and landlords mean, and nobody wanted to hear anything. Now some people are starting to pay attention and realize, wow, we've been lied to for the longest time. And they want to destroy their creation. The so-called white man. Ain't that messed up? No. Pretty messed up. Anyway, behind closed doors, it's believed that patents, land claims, ancient maps, and technologies were distributed among powerful nations and families. This was a global auction disguised as a festival. Bullet point 1. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers began, good slaves they are, began consolidating bank, energy, and education. Bullet point 2. The Vatican received ancient spiritual texts and relics, deepening its esoteric values. So there's a reason why they're pedophiles and homosexuals and lesbians. They've been lying to you, telling you to be on your best behavior, but y'all been acclimating to that bullshit based on endocrine disruptors, mineral depletion, low testosterone, estrogen levels that are crappy, so you got to get a patch. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Bullet point 3. Colonial empires, colonizers, expanded into regions where Tartarian remnants were still visible: India, North Africa, and the Pacific. Even certain cities like Washington, D.C., Paris, and Rome saw sudden bursts of monumental architecture aligned with Tartarian geometrics, suggesting that pieces of the puzzle were being transplanted into new global power centers. Who rebuilt the capitals and all that during the Reconstruction period? I mean, I asked y'all to watch Bing Cosby's, that movie, 1941 or 42, right? Showing you the real Abe Lincoln. And we'll get into the next part later. I don't want to do this for a long time. I'm going to drink some water, take a nice, good 20, 30-minute walk. I was thinking about going to the gym, but I'm going to lay off today. But I want y'all to question yourselves. I want you to research some of this information. I want you to look at things and see what may be beneficial and helpful. Because see, everybody else talking Tartary is always going to Russia and all them places. They don't go to Japan, the Isles of Anu, the true indigenous people who have been sacked and destroyed and removed or separated and killed off in the so-called New China. How about the Philippines and the conquest in South America with the Chinos and the Spaniards? How come nobody wants to see it for what it is? These nomenclatures and misrepresentations of new names and languages that have nothing to do with reality, but the reality that you are a part of. And everybody wants to act that way, but if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have lights to look in the dark. They wouldn't have a typewriter to type stuff. They wouldn't have anything. Look at it. Think about this. The GPS, the drones, all right? The blimp. They wanted to hide in the pictures while whitewashing the damn photos. Huh? What about the spark plug, the carburetor? How about the fact we invented the original machine gun they gave to Maxim or Fake Jew? What about everything else that I showed you, the pictures and the history that is archived and Alamy and everything else? The fact that there are still pictures showing us to be. I have pulled up pictures of the Navajo. They look like little Irish, Mississippian Twa people, like the people you see over there in being killed when you look over there in Papua New Guinea. Yes, the original Navajo. I got the pictures. When I stayed upon the Navajo people, I would show them these pictures. It was only a whole handful of code talk, well, people who are code talkers were part of World War II. They used to say and shake their head, yes. They remember when they were children, what happened in these so-called Catholic school systems, right? And those boarding schools are being, and how many people that were murdered who didn't want to assimilate, who wanted to go back to Alaska, who wanted to go back to Russia. Look, man, I sat and talked with them, but it doesn't keep up the light, the lie. Who wants to be part of the lie? Only an abomination wants to be. Those who seek the truth, who have the light still with them, the hawa, the breath, they want the truth. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Swarthy. He said, if anything describes me as that, swarthy, cognitive dissonance. This is the old East. That's right. This is the East. This is the East. This is the old world. It's right here. They changed that on the maps. Even the old period, the old maps that's still out there show it. They show that this is the ancient, this is the Orient, this is the East, this is literally Asia Superior. It's not what, they just changed that in the 1800s. I mean, come on. Only a damn abomination would do that. And then cry and cap, you know what I'm saying, Karen Can type stuff, because their feelings are hurt. Nobody gives a damn about nobody's feelings when you're leaning on the truth compared to the lie. You know? And Lord of Lands, there are no landlords. That's right, that's right. Lucy, who else came in? Sneezy. I just want to say hi to everybody before I get off of here. It's hot, it's humid, I'm sweating, I feel it. Y'all got a lot of stuff. I always read this stuff later, guys. Yes, Tartarian Empire, correct. That's Fantasy Guy, yes. And I've been doing this for a long, hey, what's up, oh? I've been doing this since I was a kid. When I first learned from my great-grandma that they stopped teaching about Tartary, and she said around 1930s, 39, 40, they stopped teaching it. Because they were destroying it, using it for the upcoming wars, the station jeeps and M1s and all that. And then they went on destroying the structures, and they would literally show you that they were marble, which the most marble came out of where? Georgia. The most marble in the world was coming out of Georgia. They got quarries all over. Don't believe everything when you think about granite. The most marble in the world was coming out of friggin' Georgia, y'all. How about the fact that my people during the Civil War were coming out of Alabama? This is the lands we sold. They say we sold, we didn't sell it. All right? That's why I have a problem with all these paperwork running around Alabama. Yeah. I'm like, shut up. Y'all weren't even there until the damn 1900s, you idiots. And you were murdering the people in the congressional, our people who were in the Republican Party. They were murdering them. Now they run around and tell me we want a white town and all this goofy stuff. Because the CIA came out with crack and FBI and all that other stuff and meth, and it's killing everybody. But nobody can make headway because everybody that ran and got the ooh-wappy jabby wops. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. Because nobody would listen to us. And the ones that did, well, you know how that story goes. You know what I mean? Hey, Sean Smith, what's happening? I hope y'all enjoyed. Hey, what's going on, Uncle Bro? What's happening? Kevin, hey, hi. I just want to come back and shout everybody out. My apologies. But hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Like I said, it's humid, it's hot out here, and I'm starting to get, what they call it, mustache sweat, like brow sweat. But I just, the Red Summer, heck yeah. The Lane Massacre. Hey, I know a lot of you didn't get it, but our brother, Jamil Shamsi, 30-something years as an officer in the Army, his books, I'm telling you, he's got the massacres, he's got all of it in there. And nothing hidden. That's why I said people, if they pick up the book, they'll learn something. If you're reading about Tardy, if you're studying about it, go to Jamil Shamsi and pick up Don't Call My Dummy and Don't Dummy and still, what you call it, the second volume. And you're going to learn a whole lot. I don't know why people don't want to get books that people write that's actually historically sound and factual compared to all the fiction and stuff that's out here that drives only the conscience of a racist or a supremacist when they're not supreme, and the races, which was created in the late 17 to mid 1800s, didn't even exist before then. It's always been a tool. It's always been symbolism and lies. And nobody wants to see it for what it is, but now everybody's witnessing the genocide of a people by people you would think would be like-minded like you, but are idiots who are nurtured into a lie, showing you on both foundations and both positions. They have been good manipulators of telling fake history and lying to create events that should never happen. And tell our women to stop putting that goddamn straight hair on their head, that weave and that stupid looking stuff, because they look dumb. There's a reason why they don't come over here or don't say nothing, because they know they look stupid. And they can't argue no other way. They can only sit there on it because you got a bunch of worthless download niggas in the music and entertainments. Yeah, the worthless ones. Who will be supported by the abomination. That's not hating rhetoric. That's me studying people and knowing what I'm talking about. All right? And if you want to donate to Cashapp, go right ahead. T-Bone's he's over at the college, taking care of some stuff. I'm over at the park chilling. My thing's charged up, so I got to go make my way over here. I need to do some laundry, but I'm not trying to do that until like next week. So I got a nice size. It's just a handful of things. And I am doing my best not to go to the gym because I'm just going to make myself hurt more. But I hope y'all enjoyed the reading, and I might come on a little later and read a little more. This book is phenomenal. It really is. Niece, did you order it? Anybody, did y'all order this? It's phenomenal. Excellent book. Excellent book. You have it. Awesome. We'll get the book of images too. That's the other one. Hard to find. It was. It was hard to find. At a decent price. It's excellent. You should take pictures and upload them on Facebook. Give the description, all right? Break it down for people, and there you go. Okay? Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Yeah, it sure is, until the abominations get smacked in their damn mouth. But anyway, I don't advocate violence. Y'all know that. I don't have to. Just bopping my mouth off. You know, I was telling the guy at the gas station yesterday, gingerhead, fat boy, belly boy. I said, you know, in y'all's chat, a lot of y'all guys talk about blowing up and destroying shit. All talk, while people around the world are actually doing it. And they get tired of this 5G and all this nonsense. Okay. All right. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that I've seen the chat. You know, I go onto the races. I sit up in there and I watch what they're chatting about. They sound so damn stupid. Hey, look, if you're easily triggered, do not go onto the Aryan Front and all those damn nationalists. These individuals are some of the dumbest. Damn it, you little motherfucker, biting my ankle. They are some of the dumbest individuals I have ever seen. Books teach empathy through perspective. The quality of nobility being a giving heart is born in books' pages. Absolutely, especially when you discern and you have a little more. That's the beautiful thing of my travels. When I'm progressing through the literacy, and I'm sharing it with you guys. I know you thought I was going to say read. No, I have things that I can compile existentially that gives another foundation as whether it can be truth or not. Well, obviously it is. But my thing is, I asked y'all a year ago, how many of y'all are calling all these fake Native American tribes, and proportionally, without cursing and being harmfully bad and mean, being able to direct the questionnaires and stuff and saying when, who, and where, there's no way that you're indigenous to this land. Now, it doesn't stop people from being part of our tribe. We were all inclusive like that. Very welcoming. Because we've been at a time of peace, even though we were prepared for war, obviously. We're not warlike. We don't go around creating war. Now that a lot of people do a lot of dumb, stupid shit, but it's not without. And those who have done that, they will answer. I don't care how they feel. They will answer for everything they've done. I don't care. Everything they've done, they will answer. And let's say that on real authority. Not some hodgepodge made up existential force of surreptitious stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. Fact, reality. You'll see. You know what I mean? Was that and believe the yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Heated disagreements and just stuff. Yeah, you don't sit there arguing with idiots. You don't sit there arguing with fools. You let them be the idiots and the fools they are. Let them be on their TRT, the synthetic testosterones and shit. Didn't I tell you? Go get you a heavy bag, 150, 175, 200 pounds. Go get you a McElroy bag and just tap it and punch it every day. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. Let your knuckles get some digile and some liniment. All right? Make your skin tough like gator skin, dragon skin, right? Let them believe in their little scripted world of stupidity. And if they want to test it, you send them to the right individuals to test it. Well, there ain't got to be no words, nothing said. Let them come and study and see. With their little goofy reconnaissances on your soil. I welcome all invites. Then deal with them appropriately, for those who can. Don't sit there flabbergasting and nah, you either about it or you're not. See, they think they know everything. It's just talk, big mouth, blah, blah. I have a lot of people that know I'll stop talking. And we can just do whatever. That's where that's at. I watched one of my peoples take a club and show a couple of individuals what it was really like, with no emotions, no feeling, no psychopath, no none of that, and was looking for more. Looking for a whole lot more. People get there, walk on in and this idiot. Anyway, guess they wanted me to smell him. To debate is to debase the truth of your existence for ambition, outward approval. Absolutely. Was that Lewis? Oh, okay, that was L2. Not just for the self. Exactly. Dick Gregory, yes, absolutely. Anyway, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna let this thing charge up for another 15, 20 minutes, then I'm gonna go to my next destination. It's over there by the gym. Now, if I do wind up, I'll let you know. Like I said, I can't wait. I've got a handful of days to get all this weed. That's the only thing, THC, whatever the fuck, out of my system. Which is beneficial, trust me. I just don't like ugly, y'all. I don't like abominations, state of mind, okay? Don't get it caught up with crayon colors and racist epitaph. The individuals who are in the military think they're going to do this, that, and the other, and a lot of them are numb and dead to actual life. Everything they do is to sustain their capabilities, I guess. Have y'all watched any of these so-called Israeli so-called soldiers, not soldiers, who murdered the Palestinians when they first went there in 1948? Did y'all look at some of these videos? Some very sick bastards. And they got to live, coincidentally, like some kind of like kings and queens, which they're not. I told you that my people had kings and queens. All right? And so when I asked these so-called new Chickasaw people, I said, where's your kings and queens? What are you talking about? Yeah, so you've been studying our treaties for $1, but it was never made with y'all. But you know how it goes. It's the same thing over and over and over. It's a veneration of pure, blatant lies that just keeps pursuing down this trail of stupidity. And you would figure all these new peoples would get it together and realize it's not the same, but the disease is rampant and it's real. Okay? The people who love the lie, they'll fight for it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, appreciate you guys. You know what's up. Cash App's there. Hit a brother off. Help me and T out. But I got to get on. Let this charge about 25 minutes. It should be full. And I'm going to head on to the next little, what you call it. I'm going to stop by the Crab Shack. See if I ask them if I can take a picture of the menu. And I'm going to share it with you guys. I uploaded a couple of posts. Check them out. I didn't upload a whole lot. I didn't upload a whole lot of videos. I have videos. I need to upload them and get them off of this damn phone. They're taking up so much space. But anyway, appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And see you guys here in a little bit.